My mom was a stained glass artist. Since I was a kid, I used to sit at the table and do artwork with her. I always loved it, and then in my spare time, I used to draw. When I was in school, when the teacher said it was arts and craft time, it was like, this is amazing. I get to just sit here and create something. It was fun. Everybody loved arts and crafts. So that's literally, I get to do arts and crafts every day. What's not to be happy about? First, I think of the subject and the story that I do want to tell. I do a lot of pictures of people's faces, and the reason I do faces is because we all have faces and we all have different stories. So it's not just a sort of cut and paste. Placement in my artwork is very important. You have to figure out what materials you can use that will also look good, not just tell the story. Not only am I trying to make the colors look good, but also there's got to be a flow to the information. So it's a lot of preparation and thinking. I think people go through life without stopping to question things and really stopping to understand why things work a certain way. So I put so many bits of information in my artwork so that it forces people to stop and question what they are, and hopefully they'll become like that in everyday life. I do a lot of different stuff. There's iconic people, there's regular people, maybe it's a movie star, maybe it's a sports person, or maybe it's someone I just met. I want to do something that tells a story of your life, what things matter to you, what's the story you want to tell. I do lots of charity work. Every charity was for kids. It's nice to be able to help them out. People helped me get off the street, and that's what I want to do for other people. From 15 to 20, I was living on the streets. I learned a lot about myself and how the world is, and I think some of the subjects or materials that I use are a mirror of things I've seen or people I've met. I mean, it's a good and a bad experience. It wouldn't have made me the person I am now, or I wouldn't think the way I think now if I didn't experience these things and meet these people. It's funny because once I got off the street, art was not my focus. I went to school at university, and then I got a job at a restaurant. I wasn't happy, I was one of those people who couldn't wait for Friday. So I was talking to a friend of mine, he says, you should do art again. So I bought a canvas, and I remember sitting there for a while thinking, what was I gonna paint? And then I remember my mom doing stained glass, and I just sort of developed my own thing. I had no intentions of selling it at all. It was just, I was happy enough to have an outlet. The restaurant I worked at, the owner and I had become friends, and he came by and saw it, and he said, oh, these are pretty good, can I hang it in my restaurant? So he took one, and he called me a few days later, and he said, someone, purchased your piece, and it was, a really good amount of money, where I thought, I think I'm gonna quit my job, and I quit my job the next day. And a few weeks later, I sold the last 4 that I had, and it's been busy ever since. And I'm making a piece now. I just went to Havana, and it's kind of like a place that people have just been forgotten about. The buildings are crumbling, and the opportunities are just not many there. So I took photos, I collected a bunch of newspapers, and the picture I'm doing is not necessarily a person I met, but this is the face I decided to use to tell the story. The idea with this piece is so the pictures are all the pictures of the buildings crumbling. So these flowers are what life could be. And then on this side, all the flowers will be pointing down, sad, black. And I've done the whole background out of 24 karat gold leaf because it's always about money. I love doing big pieces because, you get more of a wow effect. The bigger the piece is, the more information I can put in it too. I just when I'm making it, I just do it by eye. The interesting part is I never know what the piece is gonna look like. But it's okay because the process of making the artwork is so slow, it gives me that time to think. Sometimes I just work until sunrise. Some things are just so exciting to make. If I'm not loving the way something's looking, I just stop making it. I don't scrap the story, but I'll scrap the piece. I don't want to just collect a check for something. I want it to be something I'm proud of. I don't give out anything that I'm not proud of. I really love visiting a client after I've made it, months later, year, And it's nice. It reminds me of when I was making it, what I was thinking and all that sort of stuff. I don't think you ever stop learning. You learn every day. The more you do stuff, the more it builds. It's not hard for me to let go of anything. I'm so excited about telling another story and making something new. Like I said, the more I do stuff and the more I create, the more creative I become. It's fun. It's what makes my artwork fun. At the end of the day, you know, you want to have something that you come home to and it just makes you happy. Someone called me and they said, well, just be careful. You work too much, your whole life will pass you by. And I said, I'm doing something I love. Like, you know, what's really going to pass me by? There's always going to be work aspect to something. There's always going to be stress, and there's always going to be like moments that are tough, but it's, at the end of the day, it's something you love. The best job in the world. I retired the day I started doing artwork again.